Hello, sir, and here is my second speaking practice with you. And so now let's jump right into the question today. Let's move to part one, shall we? So part one, we have the first question is, do you have a mobile phone? And obviously yes. I use it on a daily basis, and that is a Samsung Galaxy S8 I have purchased from my relative, and it was a really it was a very high technology device at that time, but now I have been using it for around 3 years, so it's kind of get a little bit obsolete. And so the second question is, what do you often use it for? Hmm. Well, I often use it for many purposes, such as the multitasking or surf the internet, and as well as go learning online. In this pandemic time, the smartphone is a really great tool, and uh, I cannot imagine how hard my life would be without the phone in this tough time. And so, the third question is, how often do you change a mobile phone? So I would say that it should be around 5 to 6 year, or when I feel it runs so slow, and it operates is really out of date. It operating system is really out of date, and it leads me to a bad experience, such as the lagging, and I couldn't play games on that smart on my phone anymore. I would change it. So the fourth question is, what do people usually buy on the markets? Let's move back to the questions. And so number four question is, what do people usually buy? Hello, Yong. Sao nhỉ? Let's go back to number four question. And what do people usually buy on the street markets? Currently, and the major of Vietnamese people, when they go to the street markets, they often tend to buy some food. They often buy some food and other stuff. With the food, they often buy some raw meats, such as the pork one or the fish one, and they also buy some vegetable to go home and make a meal for their family. And number five question, why do you think people go to street markets? I think the majority of people would spend their time going to the street markets because it's convenience. They don't have to park their motorbike and lose their time going around the supermarket, or going really far from their house to go to the supermarket, because the street markets is has scattered all around Vietnam here, and they would find it really convenient, and it would be a really quick way for them to go. And also the street markets at here, they sell a lot, all of the things we can imagine, and the street markets has all the stuff we want, so we can go there to buy anything we want. And number six is that when you travel abroad, do you go to street markets? I would say that when I have a chance to travel overseas, I would definitely go to that country's street markets, because the street markets, they have a really high density, and also they sells a lot of that country stuff, and I really want to find out the culture and also the emblem of that country. And yeah, so part number two, describe a skill that was difficult for you to learn. Please wait for me a minute. Okay. Yeah, let's go back with the IELTS speaking part two. And Our question is describe a skill that was difficult for you to learn. So, well, some skills are quite essential to learn but can be quite difficult to acquire. Today, I'm going to talk about one such skill, which is driving, which I learned but found very difficult. And actually, I had a great deal of fear on my mind towards driving so that I could again gain confidence. My father got me enrolled at a driving school. Mr. Tang was my driving instructor who was quite confident, friendly, and soft spoken. On my first day, he helped me to gain control over the steering. Though we were driving on the ground with no vehicle around, I was still scared and trembling, but my instructor motivated me to boost my confidence. Once I got on the highway, frankly speaking, every time a truck was coming from the other side, I was getting off the road in fear. This time, my trainer got a little angry with me and said, "You must keep the courage if you want to learn the skill." Slowly and steadily, I got more and more comfortable with driving on the road in different conditions. I was feeling like that I have learned to drive, but then the most challenging part came, which was to drive in the city center, the area with heavy traffic. I got goosebumps to drive in this busy area. The car was hardly moving because of traffic, and my engine was going off again and again, but I kept the courage this time. Though I had a minor accident with an auto rickshaw, uh, in conclusion, I learned a lot from my mistakes and the experience of Mr. Tang, and today I can confidently drive a car, but it was not an easy skill to acquire for me. And so let's go. Let's move right to the part three of the speaking test. So first question is, what skills do students need to master? I think the skill which is really essential for the student life and also it require a lot of effort for students to master is that I think the collaborating skill because in the workforce or if you want to climb on a higher career in the future, collaborating with each other is really a competent skill for everyone. And in this labor market nowadays, if you go to a company or like almost every jobs need you to collaborate with your partner, no, with your colleagues, and and I think if you can learn it at a time when when you were a student, it would be really beneficial for you in the long run. Yeah. And number two question is it hard for students to learn skills? I think it's really depends on the skill that student want to learn. If it is an easy skill such as let me see what is an easy skill for a student like the concentrating skill or like yeah concentrating skill, that would be quite an easy one. I have heard of a really good technique for concentrating skill is that pomodoro, when you turn on the clock for 25 minutes and you start focusing on whatever on the things you want to do when you on the things you want to get done, and after 25 minutes you will have 5 minutes break, and it is a really good amount of time for a student to concentrate which is not too long and it is not too short also. So that is an easy skill for student, but like as previously mentioned, with the collaborating skills, it require you a more time and more effort to yeah require more time more effort to master the skill because you need to do a lot of group work, you have to have sympathy, and also you have to think for your partner, and that is a really hard skill to master or to acquire. Number three, is it hard for old people to learn new skills? Yeah, and similar to the previous question. I think no. Is it hard for old people to learn new skills? Well, I think that yeah, it's really kind of similar to the previous question. Depends on the skill the old people want to acquire. And so I would like give you an example. If the skill that old people want is like, yeah, I think it really depends on the skill the old people want to learn. For example, like I will talk about the gardening skill. It is a quite slight and easy skill to learn, and I think old people can deal with it, and it is a really good way for old people to let their hair down after let their hair down, and also get rid of the laziness in the old time. Let's go with question number four. Is a good teacher very important for students' learning experience? Definitely yes. A good and smart teacher is very important. That is always true regardless of the time and the year. It will always be true because a good teacher with a good knowledge of that subject, and also they have a good pedagogy skills such as the teaching skills and also the collaborating with student skills or the student teacher interaction. They would inspire the student to love the subjects that they are teaching, and also they would be a mirror for student to there would be a mirror for student to there would be an example for student to look and do and follow them. Yeah, and I have experienced a really good teacher in my 12th grade with which inspired me to be an English teacher like nowadays. He is a young teacher. His name is Shang, and he is a young teacher. He's only around 30, 30 years old. He teach in my high school, and he has a really good characteristic. He is hilarious. Also, he's really caring and thoughtful for my children, for the students, and he had inspired me to become an English teacher like nowadays. So, yeah, that's the end of my speaking practice of week 13 for you, and thank you so much for listening.